This week in comic books in the land of DC, what fantastic stories were being introduced. I mean, legitimately, just great stuff. And in the land of Marvel, I only picked up one book. And even though it has like little tiny plot holes in it, some things that kind of don't really seem like they connect, it's overshadowed with this great concept of a story that I'm really enjoying. And in the land of Independence, every story hit. Yeah, a few slow points here and there, you get that. But for the most part, everything was on point and I enjoyed it all. And I'm feeling awkward about it. I don't know how else to describe it. Let's roll that intro and jump into this week's books. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? I'm Pocan Joe, and as always, I'm super happy that you're here. Enjoyed having you here. This is our superficial review of comic books this week, and I say superficial even though I liked almost everything I read. It's a very gratifying feeling. So without further ado, let's jump into it and hit up DC this week. First off, did you even bother reading Steel? If you missed out, stop watching this video and go get it. Everybody knows I don't care about spoilers and stuff like that. But legitimately, you need to stop and go get this book. Or leave it running. That would help me out. But just go get it. So this is done, and a lot of people are saying like in an Arthurian style, like King Arthur style. It's actually better than that. This is actually done in a Shakespearean, Hamlet type style because we learn the politics of the families in here and everything else. So right there in the beginning of the story, it subverts the expectation. Krypton's blowing up, and it's time to send, Kal-El to Earth. But in this particular version, like the family pack's in there, which was always a question. Why didn't Jor-El just make a ship and travel with the family? But whatever, right? In this one, they do. They all travel together. Some knights come rolling up on them. They're about to do some damage because there's a prophecy out there that a young John Constantine, right, is kind of spouting off. It all takes place in this medieval type venue. It's awesome. Well, anyway, they're about to kill him, and Superman's dad's like, nah, I don't think so, and like lights him up with lasers in a good way. He didn't want to do it. I made it sound like he did. He didn't want to do it, but he did it. Eventually becomes king. Batman is his bastard son, which that's right there is Hamlet all day long. Just the bastard son role. Kal-El is there. They don't know they're really brothers. Like there's a whole royal dynamic behind this thing. And then of course superpowered beings being kind of an outlawed thing. And there's even like a little sprinkles of Robin Hood in there as we see Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow himself, and a couple other people. Oh, it's awesome. I would spoil the ending right now, but I seriously think you should go, especially if you like medieval type stories and you always kind of wanted a superhero twist to it. Oh, you would like this. Like arrow to the eye, good. All right, moving on. Batman Superman Authority special. So I wasn't really. I've read a couple of things with the Authority about this whole Authority. Superman's new team since he's been booted out of the Justice League, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to get into this. Like, it seems they just seem weird. They seem awkwardly weird, and I don't know. I just wasn't missing it. But I went ahead and picked this up, and I read it, and I was like, okay, all right, I can get behind this. First off, Midnighter's not as annoying as I originally thought he was. This particular writer's picked it up, and he's rolling with it. In this one, they have to go back to the dark multiverse. You'll remember that's where our villain, Batman slash Joker character comes from, right? And in this one, Ra's al Ghul's family kind of rules everything, and they want to rule more and go through teleports. So Superman and Authority, preemptive strike to get out there and take care of business, drop them bodies. Batman shows up. Batman is Batman in it, right? Like, and his whole having to work with people thing and his groaning and broody thing, right? He's doing that in here. And I was like, okay, whatever. But the other characters, Midnight stood out in this, and several of the other characters, because I didn't quite understand their powers, or maybe because I just wasn't paying attention. But this made them make sense and legitimize them in the overall continuity of everything that's going on in DC. So I'm on board with this. I will get more of this because their major mission to go to War World is going to be coming up. To go drop some bodies over there. So yeah, I'm on board with that. Good read. I enjoyed this. Arkham City, creepy to the point of like if you're reading it in the dark, you look at the shadows. I hate this tin-eyed man. I don't know why. This cat creeps me out, and that's the point, right? And this one we get Double X. Double X is a character from long ago. It's another reason why I like this. With all these people that escaped Arkham, we get these obscure characters that we don't really hear about a whole lot anymore. Apparently, he can get people high, like high as a kite, higher than any drug out there. He's being kept captive so people can touch him and get people high. It's kind of like the new drug, right? Uh, and Azazel's running around dropping them bodies because God is talking to him. Is it God? Is it the ghost of Arkham? Whatever the case may be. But definitely the tin-eyed man is on point here. And it's just the whole psychology aspect of it, throwing a psychiatrist in there like a Mr. like the show Bones, I think. It's, what's the psychology behind it and all this other stuff. It's really good. I've enjoyed this. I think it's smart storytelling. I don't think it's anything overly original. Within a few seconds, I was able to come up with something like it, and I'm sure there's plenty others. I know there was a movie that was similar to it too. But regardless, either way, it's still good. It hits on that creepy vibe. Continuing on, an odd book for DC, to be honest. This is religious satire at its quirkiness. Is the best way to put it. So, our young man, we get his origin story in here on how he got into the seminary, how he got kicked out of seminary. We find out more the origin, or not really the origin, but the essence, I guess, of this deity he's brought forth, or this dimensional being. We actually find out what it is. And they got to hide a body because Scuzz is dead. This is just, it hits things that I don't want to say are off limits because nothing's off limits. But it kind of, for DC, it kind of hits on some things that you would usually get in a Vertigo type book, or something more adult written, not in a regular floppy. And I think that's why I like it. Also, the foul language in here makes me laugh because it's awkward cussing. Like, words getting thrown together don't make sense. Pretty fun. Icon and Rocket. So this is great. I like how they're their own characters dealing with issues that are relevant to them in this particular book. I think that's smart writing. I think it's good. A new character comes in. We find out about a whole nother organization out there of villains that yeah, just kind of, I'm assuming they're villains. I'm trying to recount. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say they're bad guys. And they start off by doing the good thing, right? Because that's what the best of bad people do. They start off like helping you out and then they stab you in the back. So yeah, that's going to happen in here. One weird thing is there's a spaceship with just random hearts on it. And I remember stopping and looking at it going, why are there hearts? I even put something on Instagram about it. And then sure enough, even young Rocket in here is like, is those hearts? Are those hearts on her ship? Like, why is that there? So now we've confirmed that other than the Justice League and all these other superheroes that are out there, we actually have our core group of villains now, our own gallery, if you will. So I think that will be important moving forward with this story. Moving on, Swamp Thing. So it's brother against brother, right? Nothing unusual about that. Nothing unusual about their motives. Very comfortable space if you like that. If you're a comic book reader. But I just like this. I don't know if the artwork matches the dialogue. You feel like you're in the story. It's really good. So no first appearances, just all out. This is why we got to fight because we're just not going to agree. So super cool. Moving on. My only Marvel this week. I noticed as I was going through all the books there that I had pretty much just done away with most of the stories in there, but I'm still picking up Amazing Fantasy. Now look, don't get me wrong. I know this book, a lot of people, if you don't like fantasy stories that expand into sci-fi, this will probably not be your story. I don't mind that kind of stuff. I'll read it. That's fine. I care about the contextualization of the story more than anything. But what makes this great is it's our heroes in their prime and all their trope and campiness that I think I enjoy. It's more of a flashback for me. Also, with covers like this, Death Dealer, homage to Death Dealer. Oh, and also we find out we do have other superheroes that are in this particular parallel world, if you will. What confuses me is I was under the impression that they all kind of knew who the other person was, but in this one, it's obvious they really don't know who they are. So, like Spider-Man and Captain America, because he's like, hey, you're really good at this, but they all know they're from the same world. Which, again, I was like, that doesn't really connect very well, but whatever, I'm rolling with it. Um, Storm's in here. Apparently, she's generating the big MacGuffin, right? The device that will destroy all. Some backstabbing between the villains goes on here. It's what happens when you lay with thieves. And so, yeah, I like it. It's nostalgic. It's campy with a modern twist to it. And it's just ridiculous. Sci-fi, medieval-ish, fantasy realm storytelling. Every panel looks like something you would see on the side of a 1970s van. You know, the one with the little window up in the... Yeah. All right. So going right into Independence. Magic Order number 2 finally came. Oh, it finally came. I was a huge fan of the first one. And I could have ended a little differently, I think, was my review of it. But for the most part, I enjoyed the story. However, my only criticism is this isn't a comic book. It's a script. This is somebody that's writing... You know, they're chasing down that Netflix, Hulu deal. I believe there's something already in the works for the first volume of this, and that's fine. It is what it is. But I like this because it picks up where if you've read the first volume, you don't have to go like deep diving to find out what happened to connect if you forgot. And if you're a first-time reader of Magic Order, you can pick it up. It's pretty much explained. There's new people in charge of the wizards. We know who, and we know how sadistic that old bird is, but yeah. And we find out that, you know, young people are learning powers. We've been introduced to a new fraction of the wizardry world, if you will, that's going to be kind of playing a part here, and it's going to be based off of, you know, jealousy, desire, the usual stuff. Knighted. So this is a parody of Batman. We're dealing in the AHA world here. I'm pretty sure it's connected to a lot of the other things because they keep talking about the Great Death and only 5% survived, yada, yada, yada. You know, oh, I'm sorry, 5% got powers, yada, yada, yada. That seemed very connected to the, I believe I want to say Resistance storyline, I believe. But in this one, basically, superhero dies. Come to find out, his butler was in boss the entire time. Nerdy guy that's an analyst is going to end up picking up the cowl, if you will, and moving forward to fight crime against it. What's interesting to me is the villains in this one that we were introduced to, their little cult or gang, if you will, are kind of bio-enhanced, and why they're bio-enhanced, and as tropey as it is, it's kind of a heart-wrenching story. So yeah, I like villains with motive, like a legit motive from pain, right? And he sounds very much like Bane. Like that voice was in my head the entire time. Regardless of what you think about the movie, I heard that. All right, Primordial. So I'm hoping this is our slow issue of Primordial. We get the backstory to dog Luca, the Russian dog. Right? We get the backstory to that dog, how it was a stray, and yada, 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 and it's in space, and it's connected with some sort of being out there, and it's been alone for such a long time that when our monkey arrived, you know, it's all excited and happy. We meet the doctor that was in charge of the dog that sent it into space. Very low verbiage there, very low motivation in this one. It just kind of seemed like a crossover. But for an issue 2, I thought that was a little soon for it. But for the most part, if I had to pick a, you know, like the worst book of the week, it would be this. But I'm still very intrigued with this. I want to read more of this and find out what this thing is that they're at, right? And our doctor, who was sent to kind of clean everything up and make everything go away, he's in East Berlin now, meeting the... I'm just going to go ahead and say she's a veterinarian, because I'm not really sure what her real job is. They didn't explain it. So, whatever. The Me You Love in the Dark. This took a weird turn. So yeah, she's having relations with an entity, a ghost. Again, it still hasn't been explained to us. And I think that's kind of what keeps me hanging on. But also, we find out the thing's very possessive and does not want her going out of the house, connecting with people. And unfortunately, her art agent, made kind of an unexpected, uninvited visit, and that's not going to go well. So, again, very short reviews on this because it's very short storytelling each time. The Delta Dogs, my boys over at Delta Dogs, came out with issue 19. We're right before the train heist. We get some more backstory, kind of a recap real quick because we know we're about to get launched into the expanse that this book is going to have been trying to reach. And regular life, school, the pressures of getting into a school, the pressures of having crazy scientist guy out there, straight up psychopath, gang leaders, and crazy Karen that can, control bugs. And then on top of that, you got drugs in the area, pills that enhance people. Like all this stuff is starting to become like this pressure pot, and it's going to explode, and it's going to be great. Because if you've met Von L or read any of his books, like he gives that, like build pressure, explode all over your audience. That sounded horrible. Get your mind out of the gutter. But yeah, good stuff. And After Dark, so this is an oversized magazine. It's a collection of horror stories. All of them are cute, fun, whimsical, and creepy. Like spiders crawling on you. Like not just one spider, but spiders. That was probably my favorite story in here. Several stories, quick, short, to the point to where it will punch you in the face or make you float away as dust. And if you read this, you know what I'm talking about. That was awesome. That was such a good story. So good stuff. So what else is going on? As you're watching this right now, you got a day to get the Austin LeMay variant cover of Delta Dogs. Definitely want to go to Millennial Comics to check that out. I'll link them in the description if you want an Austin LeMay original cover of his first comic book. I would definitely get this because Austin LeMay is only about the second away from launching, and Delta Dogs is only a few steps away from becoming something. How's that for some spec out there? Literally something that's truly new and unique. So I'm super excited about that. From the Evil Lair, I'm going to go ahead and start my Veterans Project. Be on the lookout over at Evil Lair Projects and Builds. We're going to do something with Rocketeer next month, and we're going to kind of celebrate Veterans Day. I'm going to go ahead and take the month and do it. Why not? That and Thanksgiving, of course. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that built up. So at the end of next month, that will be out for all of you to enjoy and watch and make fun of me in the bloopers. Go figure that out. Other than that, I don't have anything else new yet, but we got some things working in the background. So definitely, hit that notification bell, join other people in their chat rooms. I try to go around and be in everybody's chat room so we can all chit chat and talk. So definitely be part of the community, get involved in the community, and have a great time. All right, guys, I got nothing else. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.